We have higher expectations for the buildings we live in. We expect lighting to work at all times of the day or night. There's a heightened sense of wellness and design. You know, the connection to the outdoors is important, not just because we like to look at things, but because it actually improves our quality of life, makes us feel good, makes us happy. There are a lot of things that we want in our homes. And for most people, you know, when you build a home, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So, you know, you want it to be the best it can be. I'm Elizabeth Herrmann. I'm an architect practicing in central Vermont. I have a small practice of 4 people, and we focus on doing interesting residential work that is on the smaller scale, I would say. So we really like to focus on the details and are really customer focused. So we try to work pretty hard with our clients, work with their specific, you know, sort of ideas about how they want to live and their landscape. So when I first came to Vermont and started practicing, I was doing a lot of farmhouses. And I like farmhouses in a way, but I also think that a lot of vernacular traditional architecture can be limiting in that, you know, the way a lot of older homes are designed, there are a bunch of small rooms with little punched openings here and there, a little window here and there. And so I've always really loved the flexibility of modern architecture and the fact that you can do anything, that you're not stuck with a certain vocabulary or way of thinking. I'm really driven by the notion that space really matters, so quality of space. It's about making spaces that interact with the landscape and speak to one another. I and my clients respond really positively to natural materials. But they also have like associated natural materials with materials that require hard work to keep up. You know, oh, wood, that, you know, that requires repainting, restaining, you know, lots of maintenance. How do we keep it from rotting? And I think the nice thing is we have alternatives. You know, we have stuff that actually can be natural and is not necessarily something you have to spend a lot of time maintaining, if any time. So when people realize that there are options, they always want to gravitate more toward the natural materials that they like the look of, but just maybe didn't really realize like are not going to be a burden to them. One of the reasons I really enjoy working with Red House is I feel like we share common goals, and we've partnered together on quite a few houses. And I think it's really nice when you feel like you have this kind of team of people who respect one another and get excited about their work. I love the way black interacts with the landscape. A house on a hill like this too, specifically with like a wooded backdrop, is so beautiful in all seasons in black. You kind of read the profile of the house and see it against the landscape, and at different times of the year. I mean, in the springtime when you get that really bright green, it's beautiful, and then it sort of tends to kind of recede a little bit when the darker colors of the season come out. There's just something really beautiful about a black kind of semi-sculptural, you know, form in the landscape. I love craft and I love patina, and I feel like they're related. Craft is sort of the human touch, and patina might be the sort of effect over time of nature, or maybe even how a material and people interact. I would choose a wood material that would naturally age over time over something that might remain completely static and unchanged for 20 years and look brand spanking new, because I like the way things evolve with us, you know. It's like wearing out a pair of jeans, you know, you kind of like those lighter, you know, places where the knees kind of bust out, and, you know, it becomes a living thing, and I think it's much more interesting and, you know, certainly not static, and just tells us something about our humanity in a way. Like, we live in buildings, we're real people, we do things. Nature acts on materials and changes them, and I think it's just so much more interesting. And so I see houses very much as a part of the landscape, and the inside and outside to me, if done well, I think feel fluid and feel like they're part of the same thing.